Alright guys, what's up? So this is the first video that I'm posting in this series for the math portfolio questions. There are 12 more videos after this one. So just get ready to follow these step by step and you should be able to answer these questions. So the sheet that you're looking at right now is the practice sheet. This is your actual portfolio. You'll see that at the top it has this stuff and you got to double click it in order to fill in your name. Don't worry about that. I'll do it if you don't want to. So that's how you could figure out that these are the actual portfolio questions. You just look at the top. Let's get back to the practice though. So this is part one. We already did 4 other questions, but we're going to start now with the other 12 we have to do. So for part one, it says solve the following problems and show all of your work. Two key things here. You have to solve the problem and you have to show all of your work. And if it asks you to explain, you must be writing words. So if we look at the first question, it says expressions and equations. Number 1, letter A, asks you to evaluate 2 to the 7th power times, that little dot there, that means multiplication, 2 to the negative 3rd power. As you could see, I made it a little bigger for you so you could see. And we need to look at this problem and you look at all this information you're given, and you need to think back to what we talked about in class. So when you have two numbers with exponents multiplying each other, the first thing you need to do is look at the bases. The base is this big number. So in this problem, the base would be 2. Um, Next, after looking at the bases, you need to figure out, are these two numbers the same? Well, yes, they are. 2 and 2 are the same. So when they have the same bases and they're multiplying, you have to take the exponents, these little numbers, and you need to add them. So what that looks like is, so we got to do this. We take our base and rewrite it. Now, when you have exponents and you're writing in a Word document, you need to change the format to get it to look like this. So in the past, I did not know how to make an exponent, but here's how you do it. Listen carefully, watch carefully. Here's the number 2, represents our base. Now, cursor's blinking here. Click on Format, go to Text. You see my cursor is on Text. Now go to where it says Superscript. Superscript has an X and a little 2. When you click that, look what happens next to my big 2 on the screen. See how the cursor is now smaller? So we open our parentheses, and I told you before that when the bases are the same, you take the exponents and you have to add them when you're multiplying. So we're multiplying in this problem because it's 2 to the 7th times 2 to the negative 3rd power. And we simply do 7. And Mr. C said we add, so plus negative 3. Don't forget the negative sign. If you forget the negative sign, I'm returning your paper and you have to do it over. Now, we're still in superscript. So to get out of it, you go to the format again, you go to text, and you click it again. And you see how the cursor is big again. So you hit equals, and now the 2 remains the same always. And we open our format again to go back to superscript. So that's format, text, superscript. And we put in the value of what 7 plus negative 3 is. So if you tell me that 7 plus negative 3 is like 10, you're wrong. I like to look at the calculator. 7 plus negative 3. So we have 7 plus, we have our 3, and we need to make it negative before I hit equal sign. So negative This button makes it negative and positive. So 7 plus negative 3 is equal to 4. So the answer would be 2 to the fourth power. Because when the bases are the same and we multiply, we take the exponents and we add them. All right. So this is showing your work. You see how this parentheses here? It's telling me, or the grader, that you know that when these are multiplying each other, the base remains the same, and we add the exponents, and we got 2 to the fourth, and after that, you keep it moving. Now you get to B, and it says circle all the expressions below that are equivalent to 2 to the seventh times 2 to the negative third. Explain your reasoning. Instead of circling, bold the answers. So you need to circle all the expressions that are equivalent to this. But you also know that this right here would be equivalent of 2 to the fourth power. So the first step that I would do is seeing which one of these expressions are equivalent to 2 to the fourth power, because I already figured this one out. So I combined them to make 2 to the fourth power. So the first one reads 2 to the seventh power divided by 2 to the third power. So it's similar to the first one that we have up here, but it's not the same. So when we have 2 to the seventh power divided by 2 to the third power, we need to do the same thing when it comes to the base, because the bases are the same, so we keep it the same. But, and you'll notice what I'm doing here, changing my format back to superscript, the 7 and the 3 are not going to add each other. They only add when it's a multiplication problem. This is division. So we take the 7 and we're going to minus 3 from it. We subtract the exponents. And what does that equal? Well, the 2 is going to stay the same. Let's put it back to regular. 2 stays the same. And we're going to go back to our super. It's going to be annoying, but you'll get used to it. And 7 minus 3 is 4. Is 2 to the fourth equal to 2 to the 7 times 2 to the negative third? Yes, it is. You figured that out before. Don't forget the answer you had before. And you know what? Here's what you should do as well. We should simplify 2 to the fourth. So 2 to the fourth is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What does that equal? Let's see. 2 times 2 equals 4. Times 2 equals 8. And now times 2 equals 16. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. So this is also equal to 16. So we should bold that. That's how we're doing this. You're going to bold it. Highlight it, bold it. Watch this. Not bolded, bolded. Not bolded, bolded. That's italics. We don't want that. Bold. All right. This is the work you show, by the way. 16. Is 16 equal to 16? I think it is. Bold. Not underline. Bold. All right. 128 times 1/8. Wow. 128 times 1/8. How do you figure that one out? Let's do it using good old-fashioned math on paper. I know you guys like to see it on paper, right? So 128 is the same thing as 128 over 1, right? So in order to multiply this times 1 over 8 is just, I know, I'm good at formatting this, make it look good, right? Pretty good at doing this. Just multiply across, and you can do this on paper, it would be easier. and then write it in. So 128 times 1 is 128. And 1 times 8 is 8. And you left with 128 divided by 8. Huh. Let's see what that's going to equal. 128 divided by 8. 128. Oh, no. 128 divided by 8. 16. Is 16 equal to 16? Yes. Yes, it is. So you would bold this. Don't bold your work. I don't need you to bold the work you show. Bold the answers you pick. All right. And 2 to the negative 15th power is the same thing as 2 divided by 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 2 divided by... We don't want to do that. We don't want to do all that. So just ask yourself, is there any way that 2 divided by 2 divided by 2 divided by 2 ever could equal 16? Watch this. You don't have to do this one, but I'm going to show you. No, it cannot. So will you bold 2 to the negative 15th power? I wouldn't, because it's not equal to 16. Now, when you answer the problem on your portfolio, which looks like this, use the same method. Keep the base and add the exponents for letter A. When you get here, you need to follow the rules of dividing. Keep the base and subtract. Here, 32 times 1/8, it's the same thing as 32 divided by 8, right? Because 128 divided by 1/8 ended up being 128 divided by 8. A little trick. So you're going to get here to 4. See if that's going to be equal to what you get up here. And this one, well, you already know about this one, right? So you know what that's going to equal. Just use your better judgment. And when you end it, I need you to write in words. They are all equal to 16. This must be written. They are all equal to 16. If this is not written, I'm calling you and telling you that you did not watch my video. If this is not written, I'm sending it back with a 0. If this is not written, it shows me that you don't care about math and you don't care about your grades. So if I don't see this and I don't see all this formatting, I don't see all this work, I don't see this work, I don't see these parentheses, and if you ask me how to write exponents, I'm going to straight up just tell you watch the video. All right. So I hope this helped you with question number 1, and good luck.